Well, hello, I'm Tony Vlahos for ExecuNet. Thanks as always for tuning in. Are you conversation ready? If you don't know or don't know why you need to be, well, you'll be glad you tuned in today because joining me to share her expertise on how always to be conversation ready is Erica Smith. Erica is the managing director of the Career Strategy Group of ExecuNet. That's an elite team made up of top level executives, former executive recruiters, coaches, and many others who work directly with executives like you to help them land their ideal roles. Erica, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Tony. Glad to be here.
So, who needs to be conversation ready and what does it even mean? Enlighten us.
I know it's a strange thought to some. You know, it came about because we kept hearing this false narrative from people that we talk to day in and day out. And it was interesting or odd to us because of really two pieces. One is we were hearing from people that as an executive, they will get ready for the market when they're ready to look. And these are very top people who in their roles are always paying attention to the marketplace for their companies, yet personally will only pay attention to the market when some event happens, right? So that's really one reason. And secondly, who among us has not had the experience of finding one of our favorite opportunities informally, not only once, but maybe 2 or 3 times in your career? And so it behooves an executive, whether they are searching or not searching or peering in from the sidelines, to actually be conversation ready, because those conversations are likely to happen informally and you want to be at your best for them.
Erica, tell me why it's so important for executives in particular to be conversation ready. Why does that make their search so much more meaningful and how does it really advance their cause?
You know, I really couldn't conjure up a better market for executives than what we're actually witnessing today. And it's not just for all executives, but it's for executives who have a knack for, have experience peering around corners before others do, who are able to create new adaptations, new paths for companies. And beyond that, I would say, truly understand the connection between people, culture, and having a prominent place in the market. That's what companies are looking for today.
Mhm. And I'm sure we can all recall situations we've been in where we wish we were, in fact, conversation ready. One that leaps to mind for me, and I'll use as an example a VP of sales who finds themselves at some event, a cocktail party in physical space, for example. And the question comes up, so, Frank, what do you do? And that person says, I'm the VP of sales. So let's press pause. How could Frank have been more conversation ready in that situation? What would you have said?
You know, it's a great question, because really what the work that we do around conversation ready is about being able to fluently respond in those situations or others like them with what makes you personally valuable in the marketplace, and to do it in a way that is compelling, and not just to understand that value, as many executives when we first work with people will say, well, I've done mergers and acquisitions. I work with VCs. I've worked with PEs. I've worked with Fortune 500 companies. I'm a top operations executive. That's not what makes you most valuable. Because at the executive level, you're competing with others who have very similar experience. On par, of course, on par, it's going to be an equal play. And so what you really need to do is have a much deeper understanding that's hard to access for yourself, but a deeper understanding of what it is about you personally that would make you more attractive than your peers.
Mhm.
And so that conversation needs to be very genuine and natural and really just flow off the tip of your tongue in a variety of situations, cocktail parties or others, as you mentioned.
Right.
And then I would say, beyond that, having something ready that substantiates that. And for a top executive, when you're really speaking to audiences of CEOs, boards of directors, investors, that's a one-page, very succinct document. And the combination of having that insight, being able to verbalize it, and having that backup is what we consider to be conversation ready.
Mhm. If I'm frank, back to our friend at the cocktail party, it seems to me, Erica, that there's a dark underbelly to telling someone, if you're frank, I'm the VP of sales,
Mhm.
because that could instantly signal to the person listening to you, oh yeah, there's Frank, the sweet talking charmer who's really pushing at his job. Similarly for, say, attorneys or people that do other things, their functional area doesn't really tell their story. And what I'm hearing from you is don't rely on your title, for example, to
Mhm.
tell your story. Frank could be telling a different story, right, at a cocktail party or in his resume on
Mhm.
LinkedIn. I think that's your message, right?
And that's true. I mean, there are um, folks that we talk to every day that say things like, when they are searching, actively searching, I don't want to be tied down to the industry I've spent the last 6 years in. So it could be title related. It could be, I've wound up in this sales role because the company needed somebody in that slot and knew that I was good at it. But really my passion is around attracting investors. That's a completely different story.
Right. So tell me, what are we doing at ExecuNet to help senior level people be conversation ready?
And that's something that we do day in and day out. And it's great to have in your hip pocket because it's really your passport to moving forward in an informal kind of way. And so what we do is we serve the purpose of really doing that deeper dive and having us understand what your unique value is in the market in a way that's very personal to you, because nobody else can replicate that. Other people can replicate similar experience, but who you are and how you do what you do is what makes you unique in the marketplace. And then we take a very really engaging storytelling approach, because that's what gets people to listen, is telling them a story. And so we create your story for you. We draft it for you. We rehearse you on it multiple times so that you're fluent using it as a whole, pulling out different pieces for different situations. And therefore, you're ready to have these conversations that will likely lead to somebody saying, well, what can you give me? And then you have your executive profile to address that really senior official level. And it's simple. It's a really compact approach, just so that you have that passport when those things happen.
Absolutely. Simple, compact, but highly critical to your job search
Absolutely.
success. And it sounds like it gives you a real competitive advantage over people that go to those parties and elsewhere and say, hey, I'm the VP of sales, or don't really know to position themselves in a way that sounds like they're going to make a difference at their next employer.
Exactly. That's
Right.
exactly true. And so it's really about knowing what's unique about you from another's perspective, which is why you can't do it for yourself. You could do it better for someone
Absolutely.
else, a colleague, someone who reports to you, for your company, but you can't take an outside perspective on yourself.
Absolutely. So we're going to provide some links at the foot of this video for anyone who's watching to connect with our team and ideally schedule some time to talk to us about where they are and where they want to go. Anything, Erica, you want to share as a final thought with our viewers today?
What I can say is do for yourself what you do for your company. You wouldn't turn a blind eye to the market, until an event happens, something that gets your attention for your company. Be as kind and as generous to yourself and always be market ready.
Terrific. Well, thank you for your time, Erica. Look forward to more.
Welcome.
Bye.